Welcome to the Fight for Us podcast. I'm your host, Matone, Uncle Fox, and tonight at midnight, I'm here with my cousin Vanessa. Vanessa, how you doing?
Hi, so good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm just worried about you up there. You know, you've been busy with the fire that they had recently on St. Carlos, and you're also doing the Mount Graham run. So I'm just checking on you and see we could give any info to the listeners tonight.
Oh, great. Thank you for worrying about me and checking on me, showing me that support. It's always much needed. Yeah, well, our community went through a devastating fire, the watch fire that they're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
It's took the fire was over 2,100 acres. Several of homes that were destroyed. Um, it was devastating to witness and to see. Um, Being born and raised here, to feel and hear the hurt of our people, that whether they were worried and concerned, that there was point of evacuations, and then those that actually lost their homes, and
Yeah.
being around St. Carlos and growing up in these places, and you're like, man, I remember that house when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
or I remember that area. And this is the things that we did there, whether we played or had ceremony.
Yeah.
um, it was very heartbreaking to witness, but at the same time, we saw the beauty of our community coming together.
Mm-hmm.
There was no arguments or ugliness of fighting, or it was just like, even if families didn't get along at one point,
Yeah.
that no longer exists. They were trying to save each other's homes, making sure that they were able to get out alive. And that's another thing, that there was no fatalities, no severe injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just to also witness, the beauty behind of our community coming together, but not just our community, how much support we got from the from so many people, our our neighboring towns, our from different states, cities, organizations,
Mm-hmm.
just tons and tons of overwhelming and support, and it's being really grateful that people, that people care that much for us. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing is if knowing that our people are viewed, the characteristics that our people carry, that if we were bad people, we wouldn't get the help that we got, and
Mm-hmm.
that made me proud. That really made me proud of San Carlos. That made me really proud of our Apache people, our community, that you know the love and support that we got, because people knew that we were good people,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and so yeah, it's been traumatic, it's been exhausting. You're right, I'm trying to organize the run, and I'm really grateful for my family and friends to step in and help me, because I also sit on the Travel Emergency Response Commission.
Mm-hmm.
So we were raised that we do this work not for glory
Mm-hmm.
and not for self gain. We do
Mm-hmm.
it because we love the people. So that's why I've sacrificed my time and energy, because I love my people, and our help is very much needed. And so yeah, it's been hectic, but I'm getting through it, and I'm grateful. I'm excited for the run.
Yeah.
I'm excited that this 33rd annual Sacred Run is happening tomorrow. It's very much needed, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah. Something what they need today.
especially with,
Yep.
yeah, especially with this crisis that we faced.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's what helped us to continue on no matter what tragedies that we faced.
Mm-hmm.
It was our religion, our way of life, and our identity that blessed gift that Creator has given us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we're doing this run is really entailed, is added more, is going to be an add-on. We always pray for our community. We always pray for people all over this world, everything that Creator has created. But with this incident that happened, this tragic incident that happened, it's really for myself, and and talking to my dad Wensler, like it's really, it's pushing us, like our people need this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's
It's pushing.
I've been telling people that when one house burns, and especially in St. Carlos, like you said, those houses have been there forever since we were little, and
Hmm.
a lot of families live in one house because that's tradition. You got the grandparents and the parents and then the kids.
Hmm.
So when a house goes down like that, I mean, you're looking at a lot of families out of their homes, and also there's no storage in St. Carlos, so a lot of the
Hmm.
families have everything that they own in that house.
Yeah, a lot of special and personal,
Mm-hmm.
momentum items. Uh, just hearing their stories, being on the ground, like someone that lost their home, like all my pictures, like my
Mm-hmm.
mom is gone, or my parents are gone, and that's all I had, or even like all my sunrise ceremony stuff, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like this is gone. Like I tried to grab everything I could, but I couldn't. The fire was right there. I just had to leave with the clothes that I had on.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And yeah, and you're right. Like, it's affects, the whole community, but to also know, like you said, as we live traditionally, that's still very much alive in our modern way of life. We might
Mm-hmm.
not live in our gowang, our wikiups, but even in our structured home that we're living in today, we still carry on those ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, there's so many families that are being affected, all the way to even if it's a grandparent's home, all the way to the great grandkids.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
lot of those houses are given down to the next family member, and especially with 7 Mile District, it's an older district that right next to the first rice school. So I mean, all those homes again, they were really old. A lot of them that burned down there.
Yes, it's I know I finally went on tour to see the affected areas, and I was like, I remember seeing this one house in 7 Mile that's been up for as long as I can remember, and it's completely gone. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, that's almost like a historic landmark,
Yeah, right.
and so it's like, God, it's gone. And
Mm-hmm.
then you just also see, like, I went I know you had came down a couple of days ago and to check on family, and check on the grave site where your dad's at. Like
Mm-hmm.
I finally got to go down there to check on it too. Like I wanted to see with my own eyes,
Mm-hmm.
holy ground, and where our family, are laid to rest. And I was just like, how did it not catch?
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah, went right
like
around it. Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness, like,
Mm-hmm.
that was powerful. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because we believe traditionally that power, that fire has power,
Mm-hmm.
that it's alive, and for whatever reason, those, seeing those two spots for myself was like, man, it spared it.
Yeah, and
So
and you see all that black area just like around that whole holy ground and the
mm,
cemetery, and you just see everything else up. I was like, whoa, man! Like it just either jumped it or just went right around, or like
yeah,
something
like
was
how did
covering it,
it do
like
that?
something was covering
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
like how
So.
did that happen? Because even when I went down there, it was burnt on both sides of the road,
Mm-hmm.
like the whole area. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it should have been taken out, but you
Yeah, and
know,
then I was talking to your brother, AJ Winston Nosie Jr., who was with the St. Carlos police, and he was like telling me it went so fast that they were pulling, people out of the houses because it was going so quick when it first started, and I couldn't
hmm,
believe. I mean, even he was saying he's never seen that before, where those fires were just like it would go one direction and then take off in another direction, and And it's luckily that
Yeah.
all our tribal members have a lot of forestry experience, you know, to come out
Mhm.
there and fight the fire.
Yeah, there was like it was almost like tornadoes, I guess there, like
Mm-hmm.
fire tornadoes in it. It was just going every which way direction, and you know, and I'm really proud of my brother,
Mm-hmm.
AJ, for the role he has played in this whole. I mean, he he took on the role of in protecting our people through law enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
and him being lieutenant for the St. Carlos PD, it makes me proud. I mean, he holds a very high position, and he's definitely made sacrifice and dedicated his life to the people to be where he's at. But yeah, when that because I was stationed at the same area he was at, and I see him like driving down, in there, and he's bringing people back, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I start asking his officers, have you seen my brother? And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, he went down. He's going in the fire. And I'm like, oh no, I mean, I'm not saying out loud, but I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, being his sister, one of his older sisters, I was like, oh my gosh, that's my little brother,
Mm-hmm.
and I kept asking, and every so often, because I'm not trying to like interfere either,
Yeah.
and I would apologize to them. I'm sorry, I'm asking. Like I was like, this is just me being a sister, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, no, it's okay, but no, he's yeah, just to hear his story, like pulling people out of their houses and the fire being right there, and it did. It was weird because when I got the call, they're evacuating my area. Um, within about 3 to 5 minutes, maybe less, it probably had already spread it over a mile.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how fast it was going. I was just telling my boss, I gotta go. I gotta go. They're getting evacuated. My family's home,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "Yeah, go." And I grabbed my purse and my car keys, and I ran out the door. And I literally like just a minute and a half from where my office was, and I looked up. It had already spread. Like it was moving so quick.
Wow. Yeah, I seen
Yeah.
that. I seen how fast it went, and you couldn't really tell and judge it where it was going to go next. I think, and that's why they're just
Mm,
evacuating. You know, like Chinatown and that area because it could have jumped again. You know what I mean? And you guys wouldn't
yeah.
know. But yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was definitely
crazy.
scary.
And then you guys had all those donations, and you were at the casino with all those donations, and we had a lot of people here in the valley that knew that I had family down there, and were asking like, hey, "Are you on your way down? Can you pick up donations?" And so it was pretty heartwarming for all these friends here, even coworkers who were willing to um, donate and send stuff down there, and all the Navajo Nation was in there, and everybody was coming down to help St. Carlos.
Yeah, it was just, and that was the amazing part of seeing the just the love and support that we were receiving, and I'm very grateful for, the people that you knew that were donating and willing to help in every which way you can,
Mm-hmm.
the St. Carlos Apache people, that our tribe, we're very grateful,
Mm-hmm.
for all the help and support that we've received. Because it's not over yet. I mean, the fire is at 100% contained, but now
Yeah.
it's the aftermath. Like the other part of the chaos just started.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's people are finally being able to go home of a yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
um, and now they're seeing like there is no home, like it got completely, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one lady that she felt so bad because her for some reason her home was the only one standing, and all her neighbors were gone, all their homes.
Wow.
And so she's just like, what am I gonna do? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like my like, yeah, I'm blessed, I'm grateful my home is standing, but what about the people she loves and grew up, have created family with, and majority of them are related to them, because like you said, if we're not living in one home, several families.
Mm-hmm.
There's also where there's multiple homes or on a site
Mm-hmm.
that are related. All of them are related.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, you know, my aunt's house got burned, my grandma's house got burned. Ours was okay, but my cousin's house just down the road right here is gone. It's
Mm-hmm.
so sad.
Yeah, it was. I mean, all the houses, and like I said, all the and what people didn't notice too. Well, there was some on the news, but all the pets that all the Apaches have down there. The dogs and the cats and the horses. And I was telling everybody talks about res dogs, but there's also res cats down there. They were really trying to survive. And so I mean it was in disarray with all the pets too. They seemed like they were displaced. And I think you have an animal control down there that was really working their tail off to get all these dogs and cats fed and find the owner. And so a lot of them made it, some didn't. And but it was see all those pets being resilient too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
thankful for like Humane Society, and we have GARD, Geronimo Animal Rescue
Mm-hmm.
Team, and their connections and the people that they work with. Several animals survived. Several were gone because they wanted they didn't want to leave their home either.
Mm-hmm.
And then so many were injured, and just the medical attention that they received. And thank you to like Apache Gold Casino for housing at the pavilions
Yeah.
the animals. And we had doctors on site, and these veterinarians that were coming in, and they're assisting and attending to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
When families were being evacuated and were or their houses were burned, that was the places to take them, was to the pavilions
Mm-hmm.
to house their animals for them. And they didn't just house them; they gave them a full like screening.
Oh wow.
Even all
Nice.
the way to trauma, like
Mm-hmm.
mental, like, so if they weren't burned or um any kind of oh, I guess physical
Mm-hmm.
elements,
Mm-hmm.
from the fire, they were also being treated mentally.
Yeah.
And
Wow,
so,
that's good.
yeah, they were on watch. Almost, they
Mm-hmm.
had someone there 24/7. Yeah. So, because a lot of our people, like you said, have animals, their res dogs and
Mm-hmm.
their res cats, and
Yeah.
have horses and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. And so, that was, and there were so many families worried my dog is still down there, or
Mm-hmm.
what am I doing with my horses.
Yeah. And then with the
Yeah.
dog, I've been trying to explain to people up here in the valley that that you don't really put your dogs on a leash, and you don't really cage them because they don't leave the house. They always stay in your yard, and they come
Yeah.
out once in a while. But when a fire like that, they probably just took off. And so it's hard
Mhm.
to find your dog. And it was like, yeah, those dogs, they're on their own sometimes. So now all the owners are looking for them because they're worried about them. But most of the time, those dogs stay home. And I don't know if you saw that clip on Channel 3 News where it had that one dog that was just sitting there with his whole house burned down. He was just sitting there in front of like where the
Watching.
porch was at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't leave his home at all.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There was several stories that were being told. Families that were able to go back in to check on their animals.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're like, oh, there are a few, like you said, a few that are. You're right. Like, we don't have them chained up. They
Mm-hmm.
know how to get home. They could
Yeah,
go over across the mesa and make their way
yeah. Come home,
back to
come
their
home in the
house.
morning.
Yeah. So, they first instinct, for them was to do that. And then there was some that, knew that was home and they wouldn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so some, you know,
Some died in there.
die. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like their families are mourning their pets too.
Mm-hmm.
And then some that they wouldn't leave, but they like hid, under like their doghouse,
Mm-hmm.
or, um, some kind of like shelter,
Yeah.
but they just didn't want to leave. Even though they weren't chained up, they're like standing their ground.
Yeah. Didn't want to leave their
Yeah.
home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that with this going on and it's kind of getting better down there on the reservation. It's really good that this Mount Graham run is coming up because it's uplifting, it's positive, and it's something that they would get to get out and do something instead of being there like that. So it's good to have this continue this run. I mean, I'm sure people thought this might be postponed, but something like this, people need. So I'm glad that you guys didn't decide to postpone this run.
Yeah, me too. We took a step back and, prayed about it and really looked at, you know, our the need for our community. And yes, the loss of like their homes. You look at their physical and mental and emotional
Mm-hmm.
um beings, like you look at all the elements, and one of it, there's also spiritual, there's spiritual connection that was affected. And and so with this run, that's what we want to include in this year is, every year the run is, there's always a meaning for it.
Mm-hmm.
We've always, talked about, this is so that our ancestors know that we're still alive, that we're entwined and one with the earth, that we're going back to our holy places the right way,
Mm-hmm.
and carrying our staff and our prayers for all people, because we live in such a world of materialistic um, priorities, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and then this corporate government that it's making a norm that our natural resources and are taken for granted. And
Mm-hmm.
then, our religion, especially for indigenous people or Apache people, that all these tribes, that our religion doesn't exist,
Yes.
and and so for the run, it's always been about educating, the non-indigenous communities, but also our own community, not to forget where we came from, because we suffer from assimilation and oppression,
Mm-hmm.
that we have to remember what happened and where we come from.
Mm-hmm.
We're not from San Carlos. Yes, we have adapted and have made the best of a bad, evil situation,
Mm-hmm.
and we've created our homes and our families here, but we can't forget where we exist or why we exist and where we came from. And so going back to our holy places is so crucial to maintain our identity and our way of life. And so, the run has always been about that,
Yes.
and like I said, educating them about that we still alive, we still exist. And then there's also, so many other reasons that come, are those that have passed on, we run for them.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that we're taking them home one last time,
Yeah.
and then, there's times where we ran and a sunrise dance was included, coming of age ceremony,
Yeah.
and having the run be a part of the beginning of her ceremony, her running to the mountain, that I'm coming home,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to go back to where it's holy, so I can have my rebirth, as the white painted woman, and the stomach lache, that we're those most ancient ceremony that was given to us,
Mm-hmm.
and so that our people can still survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's been so many add-ons that has made the run what it is today,
Mm-hmm.
and even though it's hard at times, especially when we take our loved ones back, we're mourning, we're hurting, but
Mm-hmm.
it's
It's
the right thing to do.
yeah, because when we started, I was like 17, 16 years old when it started, and since then, from there until now, like for also for me and you, we've lost a lot of family members,
Hmm.
and they used to be there every year, and like my father and our aunt and a lot of our close relatives that now that we've been taking them there because they've made it every year to the Mount Graham Run, and so
Hmm.
we made these staffs for them, and we take them up there where they can be up there, and it's a beautiful place up there for them, and it's something that I'm glad you guys brought into the into the run because it's also a lot of work to do that too.
Yeah, I think for me too, I look forward to it every year, not only for for how why my dad started the run, to fight to protect
Mm-hmm.
Mount Graham and to carry on our religion and our way of life, but also knowing like how we have our loved ones there,
Mm-hmm.
placing that their feather there. It's like, when I get to the base and I'm like, I name each and every one of them and I'm like, we're home.
Yeah.
We come to see you. And you could feel it. You could feel
Mm-hmm.
them there, like you could feel like it's not sad, it's happy because it's like you feel their presence and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
man, it just feels good.
Yeah.
And so I look forward to it every
Especially
time.
especially in the summer. And I like the way you and your family have made this Mount Graham during the summer because people always ask me like, man, isn't it hot to run? It is, but it's like a reward when you get to the top because
Hmm.
it's 118 in Safford and it's 68 degrees on top of the mountain.
Right.
It's like very rewarding. I don't think. I mean, it'll also be good during the fall too, but I think it's more rewarding in the summer just because it's so hot down here in the valley and Safford and in St. Carlos, and to get up there to the top, it's like everybody's excited to get up there just because the weather, the rain. I mean, everything up there is beautiful.
Yeah, you get to see the kids play,
Mm-hmm.
like they're away from like technology.
Yeah.
They're, being able family or sharing family time and you're right, it's such an award. Like we get a break from like this heat, because
Mm-hmm.
we're facing these high degrees because of climate. This,
Yes.
climate crisis. We're in this climate crisis,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it's like rejuvenating ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
to continue to fight,
Yeah.
to continue to survive just in our daily lives. Like it just rejuvenates you and
Mm-hmm.
gives you this energy and power to just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I look forward to every year. This year will be special too with taking our prayers to the mountain
Mm-hmm.
for the loss and tragedies that have happened with this watchfire for our people, and then to be able to turn around and bring those blessings back from the mountain to
Mm-hmm.
our people.
And it's a lot of work for you guys. When I when I run, when I go there, the vehicles that you guys have, and I'm sure you have to talk to the cities or highway patrol, or you got to talk to St. Carlos police. So I know you guys go through a lot of other paperwork to get all these runners and to get on the road like that, and drop us off and pick us up. And I know it's a lot of work. I don't think a lot of people know how much work you and your dad and your immediate family puts in to have this run also.
It is. There's a lot to go that goes into it.
Mm.
I feel like I already started holding my breath,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to get ready for the run because I do feel responsible, to get our runners up there
Mm-hmm.
safely. Um,
Yes.
and then I feel like I don't breathe until I know they're all departed and are home.
Yeah.
And but it's all worth it. It's all worth it at the end. Like that reward, like you talk about being on top of the mountain. It's
Mm-hmm.
to see all these people smiling and in laughter, filling the air,
Mm-hmm.
and the joy of just sharing that space with one another,
Yeah.
hearing the songs, hearing the conversations, hearing our circle, our circle talks
Yeah.
and and just being one, this one family, no matter where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're family up there, and a lot of our relationships with other people that aren't blood related to us become family.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty behind that also. And it is, we do. We organize, we send out letters, to all law enforcement. It's like, and if they're willing to assist, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. We're
Yeah.
always grateful for whatever help, but we've done this for 33 years this year, and we're going to continue to do it. And
Mm-hmm. I think
those that have donated is great.
mm-hmm. Because I think like Mount Graham is more like, now that we run, it's just, it's for all, like you said, all the runners and all everybody to get up there and, just to show people where we come from. And I think it seems like it's a little more peaceful than when you guys do the Oak Flat run, just because we're still, that's an ongoing fight. So the corporations and money involved, there's a lot of attention when we do the Oak Flat run. But the Mount Graham run, since we've been doing it for so long, it seems like it's getting a little bit. It started out like that, but now it's starting to get a little bit, more of oh yeah, let's go to Mount, let's have a good time and
Mhm.
go up there, But before, I know when it first started, it was like Oak Flat. Um, but it does feel a lot less tension than it does Oak Flat. But I love the tension at Oak Flat too. So, uh, but yeah, it's two different runs. You know what I mean? It just, you could tell this one's an older one, and then the recent one we're doing now is an ongoing fight still, or ongoing battle with the courts and the community.
Yeah, they're very different and yet similar in so
Mm-hmm.
many ways. You're right. We've been doing, my dad has been fighting for Mount Graham for over 40 years, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was around like 7 when I really could understand, like 8,
Mm-hmm.
when I kind of knew things were going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, and so I remember, when there was talks with the Vatican and University of Arizona and all these other corporations, in Germany and Italy was really huge.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to have 34, I believe, 34, 32 telescopes on Mount Graham. And when my dad Wensler and my godmother Ola Castro Davis and the late Ernest Victor and so many others that have passed on now, that were at the forefront fighting to protect Mount Graham. And that was really has set the foundation for Oak Flat.
Mm-hmm.
All the things that we've learned from that fight has really gotten us to where we're at with Oak
Mm-hmm.
Flat, and just very blessed to have witnessed all that. It's still, it Mount Graham is, yeah, it's calmer,
Mm-hmm.
and has somewhat of a different vibe, but we're still very much, still fighting for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 30, like I said, 32, 34 telescopes, and it went to like they're going to put 13,
Mm-hmm.
but because of us fighting to protect it, they were only allowed to put 3 telescopes on there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't, we wish that there was no telescopes on there,
Yeah.
but it's we're glad they weren't able to get the numbers of telescopes that they wanted on there. But it's still ongoing. We're always seem to having to organize or work. I don't say work, but correspond with Coronado National Forest Service.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years we have created a good relationship with them, because, like you said at the very beginning, it was a lot like Oak Flat. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I was telling the girls, like, we had our Standing Rock already, not taking anything away from Standing Rock, but it was like we didn't have media attention.
Mm-hmm.
There was no such thing as social media, but we had barricades, we had dogs attacked, we had.
Vanessa, you there? Okay, Vanessa, we got you back. I know you got cut off there, but paused it, and we were talking about we were talking about how it first started, and like again, you said it was like oak. We said it was like Oak Flat, and so a lot of things that we see now you've already seen before at Mount Graham. So it's good that you have that knowledge and that experience to help with our younger generation when we do the fight for Oak Flat.
boonies all on the res that just lose service.
Yeah.
But I was like cracking up. I was like, maybe I should go stand outside, see if
Yeah.
it's better. But no, yeah, I mean, we're still, fighting um, to protect Mount Graham. I apologize, to protect Mount Graham, and because we know that the fight's not over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, through protecting our natural resources, protecting our religion, because we know how precious water is, and all these corporations are are searching for it, and they're gonna push to take it, and Mount Graham has that resource, so
Mm-hmm.
it's we know that that fight is still continuing to protect it against, from mining,
Mm-hmm.
from taking our water, because that Mount Graham is special.
Mm-hmm.
We collect the water from the very top of that mountain, and mountain flows down, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this one flows up,
Yes.
and so it's really really holy to us,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're still in that fight to protect it. We're still in the fight to continue to educate our people so that they don't forget the truth of what happened to our people,
Mm-hmm.
and to start that healing process, just like Oak Flat,
Mm-hmm.
to let the world know that we still exist, and that warn them that they're no different than us, because if our as First Nation people, if our religion is being attacked, there's going to be a point that your religion isn't going to be safe either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And for you and the family, and you're my family. I know you guys go through get a lot of pushback too from your own community when we have our ceremonies like at Oak Flat and Mount Graham. But there's a lot of people that really enjoy going to Oak Flat and Mount Graham for ceremonies. I mean, even the people that you pick for ceremonies, they're so excited to go camping up in those mountains. And so you're still teaching, not only the non-natives, but still the Apache community, that Mount Graham and Oak Flat and all these, we come from the mountains, and our dancers, they were called mountain spirit dancers, the Gons, and so we're all from the mountains, and it's good that you guys, our family, keeps these ceremonies going and these runs going, because it teaches the youth, and hopefully it'll teach more Apaches out in the community, because I know you, like I said, you guys get some pushback for having ceremonies off the reservation, but again, like you said, reservations, that's not our home, it's not our homeland, and so it's good that it keeps going like this.
Yeah, I agree with you. There is, some criticism, and, like you said, pushback of why are we doing this.
Mm-hmm.
It's already gone, or just worry about St. Carlos. And we're not upset. Does it hurt? Yeah. We're
Mm-hmm.
not upset at them, but this is because this is what they wanted to happen to our people, is to forget who we are and where we come from.
Mm-hmm.
That's why our language is so important. That's why continuing our ceremonies is so important. Why it's continue to forge, get our foods and our medicine that the earth provides us is important, because what this government and this capitalism that is created has been created wants us to do. They
Mm-hmm.
want us to forget who we are and how to conduct ourselves in that Apache way of life, because then we will no longer exist, and it's so easy to take. We're in the way. That's what it is. We're in the
Mm-hmm.
way to protect the land, to protect Nuggle Sun, Mother Earth, to protect all its creations, so that we can survive not only religiously, but for all people of survival. If our trees are continue to be cut, if our waters continue to be contaminated or depleted, there's no point of survival left, for all people.
Yeah.
And so it's really crucial, important, and that's okay. And, sorry,
That's
on the
okay.
rays. Um,
So Vanessa, I know you're busy right now with you got going on with the Mount Graham run, but I just want to go over real quick. So tomorrow, or it's going to be July 18th at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. at Holy Ground. I have a blessing and dinner at the Old St. College Monument, and that's when you guys are going to start your run, um, and then go all the way to Noline's Country Store. So that'll be done Thursday night, right?
Yeah, which will start tomorrow. And I apologize if the flyer says 5. We're going to start at 4.
Okay, four
We're going
o'clock.
to do
All right.
4 p.m. We're going to do holy ground blessing, feed our those that are attendant.
Mm-hmm.
Then we are going to start our first leg. This year, it looks like we're going to be starting off different or ending different because of the heat being so
Yes, it's
it's
gonna
so
be very
hot.
hot. Yes.
Yeah, it's so hot.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing the effects of climate change, and so we're having to adjust. So we'll start at 4, do a holy ground blessing, feed the people that are there. We'll start the first leg. We will stop at Noline's to congregate.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get done with our talking to our runners, so we're gonna get our milers in the vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna go an extra 10 to 15 miles that night.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. So you'll start at 4 a.m. on Friday at Noline's Country Store, and then that's when you're just gonna go all the way to Treasure Park from there.
so yeah, we'll
Mm-hmm.
start again 4 a.m. Friday. We'll congregate, start our blessing, and then what we'll do, we'll drive out to where we stopped that night, which is between Peridot District and the Bylos District on the St. Carlos Apache Reservation.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start again where we ended the run that night, and that's our goal is to get between Peridot and Bylos. So we'll congregate Noline's, then we'll go to our end point and start there, and then from there we'll be finishing at Treasure Park that day.
Okay, then on that day, so we'll be there Saturday night. You know, after all, everyone eats and everyone just relaxes and chill and visit. And then Sunday is gonna be the Holy Ground blessing. So on Saturday, is that when we're gonna retrieve water, or is that gonna be on Sunday?
That's gonna be Saturday.
Okay.
So we should get we'll be on Treasure Park. Those that need to set up camp will have that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have Apache social songs. We'll have talking circles. This is that time where we create these new relationships or get back in touch with old relationships that we have created, with
Mm-hmm.
everyone, and enjoy ourselves. Food will be provided the whole time we're there. Then was sunrise, we'll be heading out to the spring
Mm-hmm.
to retrieve our water and visit those that have passed on
Mm-hmm.
and do a prayer there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be heading back down, have dinner, and enjoy ourselves for the rest of the evening. I'll be working with my dad on like a rough draft of anything that to host, that Saturday, but it's pretty much is like we'll be gone most of the day Saturday, retrieving the water. So
Yeah.
we'll get back and relax and just enjoy one another. Sunday will be a point of the time of departure, but we'll have holy ground blessing and have breakfast, and then everybody will be, going back to their homes or their
Mm-hmm.
destination.
Mm-hmm. It,
Yeah.
I did see the looking at the map. You have it here on a flyer. The bring camping gear, warm clothes, chairs, and again prepare for rain. Because when I look at it again, every time we go up there, it rains. So again, for everybody to bring a rain jacket, extra socks, extra shoes. Just make sure they have everything that they need. You guys provide porta potties. I think you guys do a great job. Auntie Teresa and Leanne and everybody that does the food. That's a lot of work too, is doing the food and getting all these, having all these runners to get the food ready, and just a lot of things that you guys do behind the scenes. That it's a lot of work. So we all appreciate that, but it does run very well.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for my mom,
Mm-hmm.
Teresa, coming in and handling that part for the run. There's a lot of work that goes into logistics. This is going to be my 4th year organizing the Mount Graham Run,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep my dad close because I know he's living at Oak Flat, but
Mm-hmm.
like I need him.
Yeah.
I need him to continue to guide me. I need a runner. He's definitely a runner. He got them
Yes.
strong legs and calves
Mm-hmm.
to carry out those miles, even though he's 65,
Yeah.
and so it's, I always enjoy, having that my teacher, the person that has guided me into where I'm at today. And
Mm-hmm.
so he's been such no, important person in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom, and my sister Leanne, because eventually it's just going to be, my siblings and my cousins that are
Mm-hmm.
going to have to continue this.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a part of life, and it's sad you don't want to talk about those things, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
So I'm always so grateful for all the help that I get from, our family,
Mm-hmm.
and the help that we get from our community, so that we can continue this. I want to be old and our kids take over, and be like, we're at our 76th annual,
Yeah.
Zitlan Chaucian Mount Graham Run,
Yeah.
Sacred Run. And I mean, because it's so much needed, for our community and for our non-indigenous communities, um,
Mm-hmm.
because our people we're growing. We
Mm-hmm.
always have those yet to be born that will come into life, and I want them to be able to experience this. This is a beautiful experience to have in your lives, to witness and become a part of. And there's so many people that all across this country that have come to our run and keep coming every year, and there will be moments in their lives that they might not come back for a few years, but then they're like, oh, we had to come back, and then they show up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's so great to see that happening. So I'm really excited. I'm grateful for all the help, those that donate, because it isn't easy,
Mm-hmm.
and that believe in us and want to be a part of this. In all walks of life, we try to make it for everybody to be a part of. And so it's
Yeah.
great. I hope we get a lot of people out there. I need runners,
Yes.
and
A lot of
and
runners you need.
yes,
That's the
and
main thing.
anybody want to volunteer and help in the kitchen. I know my mom and
Mm-hmm.
will need that help. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of us together.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is our family reunion on top of a reunion that for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm always looking forward to our sacred runs.
I'm always excited because like you and me, and when this thing started, we're kind of like the first wave of cousins, and then there's a second wave of cousins, and then like I know my son had posted a story of the next wave of cousins coming up, and it was all the little ones all together playing.
Hmm.
So I was like, you could tell, like the wave of cousins that come are the ones that are going to take over, and so it's good. Yeah, I'm always excited to see family up there and see all the little nieces and nephews and tease them and joke with them, and so it's good. It's going to be fun to be up there.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And you bringing that up, like the generations, like
Mm-hmm.
how our roles change.
Yeah.
I was 11 when we did our first Graham run, and I'm 44 now,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's um, that 30 years. And I remember last year, Noline being my oldest, they've been running since she was 2. All my
Mm-hmm.
girls have started running at the age of 2, and then she ended up being a driver. And it was funny because her role had changed,
Oh yeah.
the different responsibility.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
oh my
right.
gosh, and I was like, it's just gonna keep going, Noline.
Hmm. She's gonna
Yeah, and
be she's
seeing
gonna be
all of
one
them.
that's gonna be had to contact the park rangers and the police pretty soon for this run.
Yeah, it's so great to just see how we all grow,
Hmm.
and then someday, when our kids decide having kids, it's going to be our grandkids,
Hmm.
and seeing them carrying that staff and making decisions and
Yeah.
carrying on that responsibility for us. And I just pray that everything keeps going the way it has been,
Hmm.
and even better. I hope someday we get actual land back, like
Yes, and those mountains.
you're like,
Yes.
yeah, like, because I think by now we've proven ourselves to to this world, that we're not here to destroy, we're here to protect and
Mm-hmm.
save, and and that we value the land and all the resources,
Mm-hmm.
and value that higher power of a spirituality, and that's really important, and how we don't discriminate,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's welcome. We're always look forward to the support we get throughout the towns, Pima, Thatcher, Safford,
Mm-hmm.
and um, because there's families out there that have been raised on Mount Graham. It's their backyard, and
Yeah.
so to see you know these two cultures come together
Mm-hmm.
for one purpose, and that's all we're trying to do.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place, and I can't wait to see you all this weekend. So it's going to start on Thursday. You're gonna meet all the runners Friday for sure. Um, you don't have to be a great runner. I mean, I'm not a great runner, and I could do a mile, here and there. So I mean, anybody can come out there, and run. If you're not a runner, and I'm sure you guys can really use the help with more runners, to get out there.
Yeah, everyone's welcome. I'm looking forward to it. It starts tomorrow.
Okay,
Our first leg, and then Friday will be
the long
our
leg.
second, the
Yeah,
long leg. Yeah,
yeah.
that's our finish, to get from one point to end in our destination, and just enjoy each other, and be in prayer in a safe space for everybody. And
Mhm.
yeah, don't forget those that want to come and be there with us. Please bring warm clothes,
Mhm.
bring rain
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 boots,
clothes.
rain jackets. Yeah.
It pours.
Mhm.
Most of the time we're there, it pours, and so bring tents and tarps, and just be ready to take it all in,
And
and
enjoy that weather.
and yeah, get
Mhm.
away from the heat, and just be in prayer with us.
Mhm. All right. Well, thanks, Vanessa, for calling late and getting us in so we could put this out and let everybody get the information that's going on for tomorrow. But thank you very much for making the time to call and do an episode.
Thank you for always having us on and getting
Mm-hmm.
our story. I mean, I know you're my cousin brother, but uh, I know you do this out of your heart, to educate people that are listening to your podcast. So I'm really grateful for you taking that position, and that role to hear not only like our story, the Apache Stronghold, or the Spirit of the Mountain Runners, but all Indigenous voices to be shared out there. So, thank you for
Oh,
giving us
you're
this
welcome.
opportunity.
Yo, you're welcome. Thank you very much. So I can't wait to see you guys this weekend. Okay.
All right, can't wait to see you too.
All right, Vanessa.
I'm gonna hold you to that. You got a mile.
Okay. You got
Okay.
it.
All
Uh,
right. Talk to you later.
all right. Love you, cuz.
Love you too.
All right. Bye.
You all for tuning into the Fight for Existence podcast. If you guys want to keep up with the podcast in general, what you could do is follow the social media account. The Instagram account is going to be Fight for Our Existence. Again, that's Fight number 4 Our Existence. Go ahead and give that a follow. And if you guys have any questions for us, or you guys would like to be on the podcast, in the Instagram there's a link. Go ahead and click that. No matter what kind of platform you guys are listening to this podcast on, there's always that plus or that follow button. So go ahead and click that so you guys can get notifications when we upload our next episode. And if you guys are listening on Spotify, what you could do is go ahead and rate the show. And if you guys are only listening on Apple Podcasts, what you can also do is write a review for the show. Thank you all for tuning into the Fight for Existence podcast, and we will talk to you next time.